The 1002nd edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Chalkx. Make real money predicting sports. Chalkx is available in all 50 states, and you get $20 free with promo code SGPN. That's Chalkx, promo code SGPN.
Hi-ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 1002 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network that's dedicated to the muscle hamster, Josiah Harrell, who came through as a dog on the weekend and seemed to make everyone in the Discord happy because people tail Gumby. So there you go. Thanks for coming to the show. I am not Gumby. I am Chikatoro, Jeff Fox, a.k.a. female bull, or girl bull. Girl is what we decided it was. With me, Danny Gumby Vreeland, the regional MMA whisperer. Mixed results this weekend, but the weekend is not over. He did good with LFA 224, and we're doing the sequel, you could say, LFA 225 today. 224 went good though, right?
Yeah, it went good. I think it was like a 2.5 unit profit. Could have been a little bit better, but I think we had a canceled fight if I'm remembering correctly in there. And it was an underdog who I liked too. So might have been a big day in there, but instead still a pretty good day. I'll also just throw out Josiah Harrell. I think I didn't go back and listen because I forgot to be quite candid. But I'm almost positive I said to wait on the line too and let it get steamed up on the Dozmatov side because it's an OV name and people are going to bet it. I'm almost positive I did. And Harrell was like almost a 2-1 favorite when it opened, and he closed almost a 3-1 underdog. So like,
you know what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean like. The OV thing is, I know we joke about it almost every time it happens on the show, but it's so real. Like if there's an OV name on somebody's, bet page, like they will just steam that side blindly. And man, look, Harrell had a little bit of trouble in round one, but like it was very obvious to me that he was so much better than the fighter. That second round looked like it could have been a 10-7. He was clearly on his way to getting the fin. I mean, it was a corner stoppage. The corner threw in the towel. That's how bad his guy looked. So, that's a pretty good indicator he's getting low.
Yep. If OV and or a size discrepancy on the scale, like a huge one, then lines
big
go
tall
crazy.
Big tall dude.
Yeah. That always steams lines up. So Gumby knows what you talk about. Fantastic. So LFA. No sleep for LFA. They're off to Brasilia in Brazil. They're home away from home. They're kind of like almost a joint U.S. Brazil promotion at this point. So they got a Brazil heavy fight card with the interim flyweight championship. So you know what I'm going to ask Gumby about later on.
He's defended the interim title like 2 or 3 times.
I know. Yeah. Anyone of note on this card? If people are going to dip in, dip out, is there people?
Yeah, the multiples. I mean, like the first fight of the night we're gonna talk about today, or not the ones not of the night, but of the ones we're gonna talk about. There's a prospect I'm insanely high on, and I think the UFC is insanely high on them too, to be completely honest. And then a little bit later on too, we'll be talking about some killers. So lots. I mean, you know how LFA does Brazil cards. It's always chocked full with Brazilian. I mean, the last time they went to Brazil, though, they headlined with a Canadian who went in and stole the thunder. But it's usually chock full of Brazilian prospects, and all of them are pretty good.
Yep. Gumby's trying to teach her how to trash talk, but that didn't go so well.
She did not.
Shannon Clark has issues. Yep. You're trying to coach her up. All right, let's dive into it. Reminder, though, new year, new gear. The SGPN merch store, which is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, has a bunch of new items for the new year. And right now you get 10% off everything with the promo code 2026. So check out sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, 2026 at checkout. Lots of good MMA gambling podcast gear there. Lots of cool shirts with our funny expressions on it. And of course, every show's got lots of good merch. So check it out. All right, now we're going to go check out LFA 225 Degli versus Aguiar. Brazil is going down on Friday, 9 p.m. Start time. Vice TV. How did Vice TV work last week? I heard
it worked fine for me. I don't know necessarily what I signed to or what I didn't sign into, but I went to vicetv.com and hit play, and it played. So I watched it, and it was their streaming service is decent. I think I said last time on here when we broke down LFA before, I had to use it a little bit when I was doing work for Arena Football.
Right.
and it worked fine for arena football. There was like no, snafus or anything like that. Like the production was fine. And I think LFA is like kind of in charge of their own production anyway. It's mostly just like is going out on Vice. So like it looked like a regular LFA production. So it didn't look like there were any differences other than the platform of which we were watching it.
Excellent. It looks like in Canada it was on YouTube. So maybe Vice TV was just a US thing, perhaps the deal there. So yeah, maybe if you're outside of the US, check YouTube. At least the prelims were the prelims on Vice also, or were they on YouTube? Do you know?
They usually do prelims on YouTube. I didn't get a chance to watch them. Timing wise, didn't let me do that on Friday, but they usually have like a handful of prelims. They're not all of them because they're really like 15 prelims or something like that, like their weekend. But
it's a big fight card. We got 15 fights in here, so there will be plenty of prelims on Friday. So 9 p.m. Vice TV or YouTube, and/or probably both if you're gonna watch prelims. Ginásio Nelson in Brasilia, Brazil. As I said, 15 fights. Brazil heavy. There's a few other South American fighters, at least one other South American fighter. That might be it. There's a few, but mostly we're going to be covering Brazil versus Brazil violence on this here fight card. Starting off with a familiar, I guess both the last names are familiar. One of them actually is a relative, I believe, though. Brito. He is related to Joe Anderson Brito, correct?
I don't think so.
Brito. No, he is a. You don't think he's related?
I'm almost positive he's not. They don't look very much alike.
He is a fighting nerd, regardless.
He is a fighting nerd. Yeah. But is Joe Anderson's not a fighting nerd?
No, that's right. That's right. I just assume every Brazilian at this point wants to join the fighting nerds. Icaro Brito with the glasses. Aristides Vinícius, he is from Brazil as well. They're fighting at featherweight, 3 5-minute rounds. No odds yet for LFA, but LFA odds are widely available. So you won't have any trouble finding numbers for these when we get a bit closer. Usually they're early to midweek drops. All right. Monstrao is Vinícius' nickname. Monster. I guess that's technically Big Monster, right? Because he's got the owl at the
Big Monster.
Yeah. He's 10-3-1. 2 knockouts, 8 submissions. So he's finished everyone. He's been submitted once. Yet he owes his rounds. 1-1 LFA. Lost win over his last 4. 4-2 over his last 6. TKO win in his last bout. Regional champ. He's fought at 155 and 170. 1-0 as a pro grappler. Brito 8-1 with 5 knockouts. Never been finished in a fight. 1-0 in LFA. He has won 7 straight fights. He's not lost since December 2024. So he's fought a lot over the past little over 2 years, or year. I guess it's only a year basically. Has not lost since February 2020. 2 inches taller than Vinícius.
Yeah, so I'm imagining this is going to be Icaro Brito, and he is going to be, if I have to guess, a massive favorite here.
You have to.
Yeah, like, what did I write down? I wrote down -700 was my guess. Like, first of all, he's been signed to fight on Contender Series 2 years in a row. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to fight Javier Reyes this year. He was supposed to fight Ernie Juarez the year before that. I think he would have killed both of them. Either or, I think he would have sniped them out. I think Ernie Juarez wound up getting knocked out anyway. And then Javier Reyes is shockingly in the UFC now. But like both of those guys would have just gotten flatlined by Icaro Brito, which is, a good indicator that he's probably on the 6th fight from the top on an LFA card, probably in pretty safe fashion here. But the big reason I like Icaro Brito is I actually was talking to Abojer about him years ago, like before he even got invited to be on Contender Series in Bohio said he is the nerdiest of the fighting nerds in the term of like guys who study film and who think about like the MMA metagame and like stuff like he does more of that than anybody there. He likened him to like a lighter weight Carlos Praches. And you know how we've like talked about Carlos Praches being the type of guy who like downloads information and then immediately uses it to like start you, right? And that's been almost every single fight other than the Ian Gary fight where he didn't really get his foot on the gas pedal early enough because, Gary's kind of tricky in that sense.
Yes.
Like that's what Carlos Praches has done. And if you watch Icaro Brito's fights, it's the same thing, only like I think he might get the information faster than Praches does. And some of that might be just that they're like lighter weight, so there's higher output and stuff like that, and it's easier for him to like get more data points. But like the guys he's fighting throw like 3 feints, and he's like, oh, I got this guy, and then he just starches him. And the counters are so sharp. He's got crazy power for a dude of his size. And so like I saw his name on the card and I'm like, okay, well already I'm picking Icaro Brito because it would take a lot for me to not pick this guy. I think he would do well in the UFC today. And then I watched Vinícius and I was like, oh, this is even worse because Vinícius's hands, his hands are so low. Like he keeps them nowhere near his, like, I don't know what he's attempting to protect with his hands being at the level they're at. Like he's really worried about like collarbone punches or something like that. Like that's where his hands are. And so like, that's already a really bad sign. And then in addition to that, like he does have like a jiu-jitsu game that like, I wouldn't say you have to worry about, but it's like, that's what he's good at. But his hands are like low, I think, so he can go for the takedown. Like he like can't change them from boxing range to like jiu-jitsu range. So they're just like always at like a jiu-jitsu grappling level. And so like it's kind of obvious when he's going for the takedown, and it's kind of obvious that like he can't stop striking. So with the range of Brito and the way that he understands striking, I think this is a knockout in like the first 2 minutes, pretty obviously. So give me Icaro Brito, probably a big fave.
He just can't stop striking, no matter what. Can't stop it. Nope. Loves the striking. All right, Brito. Hopefully you can get a under 1.5 or a knockout prop or something like that.
We don't usually get knockout props, but I would happily take the under. I mean, I'd take under half a round if somebody would offer it to you.
Really?
Yeah, I think 2.5 minutes is more than enough for him to finish this guy.
All right, cool. We're going up the card, up the weight classes as well. We're going up to 185 now. Marcio Cabral, he's from Brazil. Julio Spadaccini, he's from Brazil as well, but it doesn't sound like it, right? Or Julio Spadaccini, 185, as I said. Tell you about Spadaccini first. He is 9-4, 6 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted twice. You owe us rounds by my math. 0-1 in LFA. Lost win over his last 4. 5-4 over his last 9. Won his last bout via TKO. He used to fight at 170. He's an inch taller than Cabral. Cabral, son of God, 12-3, 9 knockouts. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 1-0 in LFA. He's won 2 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. He's gone 3-3 over his last 6. Even Steven. Both of his past 2 wins have come via TKO, which is nice. He's not lost since April 2022, which is nice as well. He used to fight at 170, just like Spadaccini. He's been fighting pro MMA since 2013.
Yeah, so I think Cabral is the favorite here. You look at the record, you look at the recent results. My guess is like high 2s, maybe cracks into negative 300. I'm going to take a stab on an underdog here. I like Spadaccini here at middleweight. Probably low to mid 2s in terms of the numbers you're going to see here. The main reason I really like Spadaccini here is like I watch Cabral, southpaw, kind of wings his strikes. You kind of see what's coming. He's got fast hands. I'll give him that, but it's not really. They're not really put to their highest potential being the way that he throws. And in addition to that too, he's the type of guy who when he gets hit, he like needs to get it back. And sometimes that's like in disservice of his own safety. I've seen him kind of try to grapple sometimes. Not terribly impressed by the way he's grappling. I also think he's going to get like inflated in terms of the numbers because he's coming off of like a 40-second flying knee knockout. And like, I would just encourage anybody who sees that in his record to just go watch what that looked like because it didn't look good. The guy goes to like kind of shoot a takedown from the clinch at like, and the guy's back was up against the cage, so it was a weird time to do that too. And Cabral like picks his leg up, but like he makes contact and his like, it wasn't, I don't even know if I want to call it a knee because his like leg was kind of straight when he made contact. It was like not good technique at all. So like that worries me, obviously, especially if you were going to get him at like 3-1 money. And then Spadaccini, like really smart technical defensive boxing. He keeps his hands up. He's, shoulders are clenched, so his chin is tucked. Nice, simple 1-2. One of those recent losses is to like a very good Turkish prospect who I had seen, who's got great wrestling. He sprawled on the first couple of takedowns there and ultimately like didn't get away enough to not get out wrestled by the guy, but like he's got good sprawls too. So like the couple of times Cabral has gone into the cage clinch and looked for takedowns, I don't think he'll get that on Spadaccini. And in general too, I think he should just like stay away from most of the big stuff that Cabral throws because like he is so safe. Like he's the type of boxer I would want to put in if I was looking for a prototype of what I wanted to deal with Cabral. Cabral's going to be crazy. Cabral's going to wing a whole bunch of shots. Cabral's going to look for big knockouts. and he hasn't, apart from hitting like some like real weird stuff, it's not like he's hitting things that like I was just talking about with the cut up Brito. He like understands the information and snipes and figures out what he needs to do. Cabral is just like throwing shit at the wall until something sticks. And like, I kind of think against Spadaccini, like Spadaccini keeps his chin down and his shoulders up in smart technical boxing. I think he's going to be bigger and stronger in the clinch too, because he is a big ass middleweight. So I'm going to go with an underdog here, and hopefully we get that at a big number.
A big ass middleweight. I think the other day someone sent me. You must have said a regional ass middleweight or something. Middleweight's your thing. Fill in the blank ass middleweight.
A regional ass middleweight is funny as hell.
I can't remember. My brother sent me. My brother just sent me that out of the blue, so I assume it was probably something that you said.
That sounds like something I would have said. Yeah,
it's It's a regional ass middleweight. Yes. So now you just said, well, what did you just call this guy?
He was a big ass middleweight.
Big ass middleweight. Okay. Fill in the blank ass middleweight. Wicked hard middleweight. All right. We got hopefully a wicked hard underdog here. Let's tell you about one of our newer sponsors, AVO. It's about AVO. Make money betting sports with AVO. That's AVO. AVO is the best sports betting tool that helps you make a profit every time you decide to place bets. They do this by spotting arbitrage and plus EV opportunities for you faster than the competitors, and they keep you organized in one place. If you're new to arbitrage betting, you're finding opportunities in the market where you can bet both sides to lock in a profit. Plus, AVO has the cleanest dashboard around. It's super easy to understand and use, but they also teach you how to use it with step-by-step video guides in case you have questions. Just sign up, pick the sportsbook you use, and let AVO tell you how much to bet to guarantee a profit. Still unsure? Check out their free Discord at AVO Official. That's AVO Official. And see the success people are having for themselves. Get started now at AVO Bet and use promo code SGPN for $18 off. That's AVO.bet. Promo code SGPN, $18 off. And Chalkx is a real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. In all 50 states, you can trade tons of markets and sports, including NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, and more. Plus, you can even trade props like first touchdowns. Besides sports, they have tons of other markets, including politics, entertainment, hell, they even have the weather. Chalkx, you can trade anything. Check out Gumby's articles on sportsgamblingpodcast.com. He'll give you some ideas on things you can trade over there. New Chalkx customers get $20 when they use promo code SGPN. That's Chalkx, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. All right, do we have any more middleweights on here? I don't think we have any more.
No, it's all little guys now. 135 and below.
Yes, hooray. Rafael Pereira, he's from Brazil. Lionel Abojer, he is from Argentina. So you know where he's fought before. 3-5 rounds, 135. He also has a Thug Life tattoo on his stomach, just like Tupac, which is pretty fantastic. Let's tell you about him first. Abojer is La Bestia, the Beast, 11-3, 2 knockouts, 9 submissions. He's been submitted once, US rounds, 1-1 in LFA. He's won 5 of 6, submission loss in his last bout. He's a regional champ, or was a regional champ. Used to fight at 145 and 155. Has 2 inches of reach advantage over Pereira because Pereira is mini man. Mini man is 14-4, 3 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. He's 4-0 in LFA. It's part of a 9-fight winning streak. Before that, he had lost 3 straight. He's not lost though since December 2018. He used to fight at 125 and 145. 2016 pro MMA debut. 4-2 in pro Muay Thai, which means what, Gumby? Also.
Oh, he's a multiple-time Muay Thai champ. Yeah.
Yeah. Only one this time, but yes, that's usually a good guess. 1 championship in Muay Thai, an inch taller than Abojer, which really kind of goes against his mini-man reputation and nickname. But anyhow, all right, over to you.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Well, first of all, I think Pereira is going to be a big favorite. Lots of wins in a row. Kind of a exciting style. He's a dude who throws big bombs and tries to make things happen. I think he's going to be a big favorite. I think even bigger maybe than we were just talking about with Cabral. I think you could see him in the 4s. I think you're going to get Abojer at like plus 350, maybe even higher. And I'm going with another underdog here. I'm going to take Lionel Abojer. I have been a big Abojer fan. And first of all, he's coming off of a loss. You mentioned that was in a title fight. It's worth noting. He lost to Vinícius in a title fight. So like, I mean, good enough that the LFA needed a guy for a title fight and was like, hey, this guy's not bad. But first of all, if you're on the Pereira side, or if you're a guy who's ever watched Pereira, he's one of the most frustrating dudes in the world to watch. He's one of those guys who he lands a couple of strikes or starts to get frustrated, either or, and he drops his hands and starts like barking at people. Like he's one of those. It's like, dude, just put your foot on the gas and you might win this fight. And then like all of a sudden his hands are at his side and he's like clowning people. And you're like, You're a 14-4 regional prospect. Like,
come on,
it's not time for
Seriously.
that, you know?
Yeah.
So like he's extremely frustrating to watch in those regards. And I would just say in general too, it's a disservice to his cardio, I think, because all of the clowning he does, the like big shots he throws off of the clowning and stuff like that. I mean, I was looking back and watching his fight against it was against the other Pereira, or was it against the Fajeda? He's fought in a Pereira and a Fajeda recently, and it's like messing with my head.
Yep.
But I rewatched both those fights, and in one of them, he just looks out of gas in the second round. Now he does find his wind a little bit in the third round, but he looks, his strikes are so much slower in the second round, and it's because he wound up getting clinched up a couple of times because his hands were so low. And because off of his hands being so low, he threw these like big winding, whipping shots, and he kind of gassed himself out. And then on the other side, Abojer, I mean, like, go back and watch his fight with Apollo Gomez, which was the fight that got him the title fight against Vinícius Perez. And he looks infinitely better in the second round. And part of it is because his best attribute is his cardio. So we're talking about a guy who likes to wing shots and clown people, and a guy who just picks up his lunch pail and gets to work. That's the Lionel Abojer, where he's going to be in your face constantly. Now, is his striking going to be good looking? No. Hard no. His striking is not sharp, but he's just like on top of you all the time, and his jiu-jitsu is that good. I think there's probably a middle ground there somewhere with his wrestling. His jiu-jitsu is good, his striking's bad, his wrestling can get the job done. But I do think that if he brings enough of that game to Rafael Pereira, he's going to tire him out. He's going to get him to a place where he's struggling a little bit in terms of the cardio. And that's when Abojer really takes over. And like, you even saw it in his title fight. Like in his title fight against Pires, he didn't win. He did eventually lose that fight. I think it's third or fourth round he lost that fight. But if you watch in the second, he winds up with some top position against a guy who is not a bad wrestler in Vinícius Perez. So like, for a guy to be putting on such a pace that he wore down, the eventual LFA champion, I really think he can wear down Rafael Pereira. So I'm looking for Abojer to do. Oh, and also, is it Pereira who I said? Yeah, Pereira like loves to clown people and throw these big knockout shots. I just remembered a note that I wrote, but he hasn't knocked anybody out since he fought for a promotion called Fight Music Show.
That's so great.
So the last time he knocked somebody out was for Fight Music Show. And so he not, you're right, 4-0 in LFA, but like all this clowning, all this big counter punches, all of these winging shots, he's not knocking anybody out. So like the question is, can he do that with a guy with submission threats for 15 minutes and live to tell the tale? I'd say it's worth a 3-1 play on Abojer if we can get him near there.
Of course. Fantastic. And Gumby's all about that thug life as well. So that's why he's going for the guy with the thug life tattoo on his stomach. And more importantly, which he didn't mention at all there, he has fought for Samurai Fight House, obviously, extensively. Not a former champ, but he's fought a lot at Samurai Fight House. So, which was a joke to begin with, but now actually it seems
kind of means something. It kind of means
something. Yeah. People have gone on to big things there. All right. Daniel Araújo is in the co-main event fighting Derick Borges. Is it Borges?
I think it's Boris.
Yeah, I think you're right. I gave you two options. You picked the third. He used to fight at, they both fight at 135. That would be bantamweight by my math. 3 5-minute rounds. Borges is DK is the nickname. DK is 10-4, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions, excuse me. So 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. This is LFA debut. That's why I didn't know his name. Haha. A lost win over his last 4. Submission win in his last bout. Used to fight up at 145, 4 inches title in. Araújo, who is the Brazilian king. I didn't know they had monarchy there, but he's 8-0, 7 knockouts, 2-0 in LFA, TKO win in his last bout. Used to fight at 145 and 155, 6-1 as a pro boxer, 6 years younger than Borges.
Yeah, so I think Araújo is going to be a massive favorite. Like, these are going to be some real wide lines on this card. We'll say like -500 here for Araújo. I will say, I was like kind of
you're thinking about it.
I'm not going to pick an underdog here again. I mean, I've already maybe gone too over the board with the underdogs here, but I will say if he does come in as that big of a favorite, I kind of don't want him in parlays. I do think he's going to win. But there's just like things about Araújo in terms of him being an 8-0 guy. Like typically that's like prospect status, right? Like we're talking about this guy nearly getting to the UFC, and he's probably looking at a bantamweight title shot pretty quickly. And like if he is, Could he compete for it? Maybe, but like I've got problems with his footwork. He seems to chase more than he cuts off the cage. He lives behind a jab and like has crazy power, but sometimes forgets to like let it go. And so there's like little bits and pieces, and like I haven't really seen him defensively wrestle, which is another problem in this fight. And granted, I still think I've seen him offensively wrestle, and it looked good enough. He offensively wrestled. He fought Temerov, and wrestled a little bit in that fight, and it looked good. And so like that gives me enough faith that he can like probably do it. But like I don't know. I haven't seen enough of his defensive wrestling, and Borges is like not particularly great in the striking realm. He's really lanky. He's going to be like, I think you said 4 inches taller than Araújo. My guess would be 7 inches of reach if I had to guess. Like it's going to be a lot more than just the height difference. Because he's like real lanky, real bony, but he like prefers to grapple. And like most of his grappling takedowns are, especially because you can imagine, because he's all like they're trip based. He's not getting in on any doubles, being 4 inches taller than most of his opponents and even lankier. I don't think that's going to work against Araújo, so like that's a problem. But like on the mat, he's dangerous. Like if Araújo was like silly enough to shoot his own takedown, like I'd worry about him there because I haven't seen enough of it. On the feet, I think Araújo is like 70 to 80 times better than Borges, and like with the knockout power he's got, especially more deadly than Borges. But I would just say like maybe this is one I leave out of my parlays. Especially if it does wind up being like 5-1, which is kind of where I see it falling. So I'm going to take Daniel Araújo with caution.
Yes, he's not full-throatedly backing the Brazilian king. So, all right, lock that one in. Well, don't lock it in. Actually,
you can lock it in. Lock it in.
Yeah,
we don't lean. We lock.
We don't lean.
But maybe don't lock him in any parlays.
Yeah, don't put a heck of a lot of money on it. All right. We're going to Underdog Fantasy now. Underdog is your home for pick'em entries where you can win up to 5,000 times your entry. That's a lot of thousands there. Underdog is bringing the playoff magic all playoffs long. Every playoff weekend, open the Underdog app to see what promos are waiting for you. Gumby's got a play waiting for you right now.
Sure. Let's go with it's Sunday night. We got the Nuggets and the Hornets. I'm going to take Jamal Murray's higher than on his points. Underdog right now has got it listed 29.5. He's been over 30 in each of his last 3 games. So we're going to take the higher than on his points. Somebody's got to score for that Nuggets team with no Jokic around.
Yep, the second most famous guy to graduate from my primary school. I'm the most famous, and then he's
okay.
Most famous. Yeah, maybe if he makes the All-Star team, he might come neck and neck with me. But anyhow, Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get 75 in bonus funds when you sign up with our code MMA SGPN. You thought I was going to tell you some real famous person actually went to my school, but no, it was just me. Rhythm has crushed NFL this season, especially on props. Last season, they were even better in the playoffs, which is what's going on right now. For instance, 6-1 on passing touchdown props, 9-4 on rushing yard props. Lots of good stuff there. It's super easy to sign up, run predictions off the house model, or make your own and play with these sliders. Gumby's going to give you a play right now.
Sure. Let's go Sunday Night Football. I'm going to take the Bears. I don't want the points. I'm just going to take the Bears. The Bears on the money line. Take them not just to cover, but to win that football game. I got faith in the Caleb Williams comebacks.
He's all in on the Bears. Looking to go premium, use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. So download Rhythm, RETHMM, and use promo code SGPN25. We're to our main event. Gumby, why is it an interim flyweight championship, Gumby?
So Eduardo Chapelin is the champion at flyweight. He didn't vacate this title, but was away and couldn't defend his title because he was in the Ultimate Fighter house this past season. Went to go defend it again. They had a fight booked for him, I think, to unify it with Degli, if not just to like defend it generally. And then he got the call to Contender Series, where he won and didn't get a contract. So then he went back, and I want to say he defended it once, but Degli wasn't healthy, and now I think he's not healthy. So like they're just playing this like weird dance where like, but what each of them is active, but neither of them is really ever available at the same time. So they just keep like defending these separate flyweight titles.
There you go. Regional MMA is going to regional MMA sometime, but we shall watch. We shall bet on it. Marcos Degli, he is the defending interim champion from Brazil. Luis Aguiar is the challenger. 5 5-minute rounds, 125. just make him the full champ at this point. But anyhow, Aguiar, 9-1, 1 knockout, 8 submissions. He's been submitted once. He owes his rounds definitely. 0-1 in LFA. He's won 7 straight, all via submission. He's on quite a little roll here. He's not fought, though, since November 2024. He's not lost since September 2022. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Finally, get to say it. sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Check out the merch. 2026 at checkout will get you 10% off. He's fed at 135, 3 inches taller than Degli. Talandis. Ty is the nickname. 13-3. 8 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been submitted once. 5-0 in LFA. He's the interim champ. He already has successfully defended it once. So this is his second title defense. Like I'm saying, by that point, just make him the champ. He's won 11 straight, 3 straight via TKO. He's not lost since March 2022. Used to fight up at 135 as well. Pretty much every flyweight has. 4 years younger than Aguiar.
I just looked it up, or had the interim look it up, rather. And Chapeline did defend his title since Degli has won his. So he was in the Ultimate Fighter House. Degli won the interim. He came out of the Ultimate Fighter House, defended against Devin Lozai, then wound up going to defend it again, but then he got the call to fight Antoine Ho on Contender Series, which he won in kind of a back and forth fight, but then has not been back to unify the titles. So that's where we're sitting. Okay. And I'm going to take Degli here. Massive favorite again, maybe another negative 500. We're looking at a guy in Aguiar who is grapple heavy, but not with any good wrestling. I think we talked about Vinícius out the gate being a guy with like low hands, kind of questionable boxing, good jujitsu and wants to get to that jujitsu early, and has like, decent wrestling. It's almost like the same breakdown here on Aguiar, but like the wrestling's much worse. I saw him get in on like a clinch in one of his more recent fights, and then he fell to bottom mount. And I was like, was he trying to sit to guard? Was he trying to sit to a leg lock? And he sat to bottom mount. Now, he did wind up coming back and winning that fight. So you're like, okay, well, the jiu-jitsu is good, but just like the wrestling is so bad. And then on the other hand, Degli, I know you're saying just make him the regular champ. Just put him in the UFC is really my opinion.
Well, there you go. You're up in it.
I'm very in on Marcos Degli. Like if he's a negative 500, complete opposite of what I was just saying about Daniel Arroyo. Throw him in all your parlays if that's the case. His pace and his range control is off the charts. It is really, really, really awesome. The way he wears his opponents down by just constantly being in their face, but also not being hittable. Especially for a flyweight, right? Because a lot of times flyweights, they're so fast that like, even your opponent who may be less fast than you, you're hittable because they're quick. Everybody's quick at flyweight. He seems like unhittable at times. And I don't really know how to describe it other than like his footwork is just better than yours. He understands range better. And then he's got just like this kind of like sneaky KO power that seemingly comes out of nowhere. Because he's like this long, lanky dude, and you maybe don't expect him to like generate the power he does, but he sort of does it after like exhausting you. Like you've been on the run forever and you're like, fine, I'm just going to put my feet down. I'm going to throw with this guy for 2 seconds and then you're out. And that's the cool thing about Degli. And for a guy who controls range that well, that's why I'm really not worried about him against a good grappler. First of all, I think Degli's not that bad of a grappler when he hits the mat himself anyway, but also like, how are you going to get to him? If you can't get to him to punch him, how are you going to get to him to hold on to him and then like weirdly pull mount or, half guard or whatever you're doing? Like there's no chance. So like, I don't think Aguiar gets close enough to Degli without getting a 3-punch combination to the dome and getting knocked out. So give me Marcos Degli. I think this is going to be a fantastic one-sided beatdown.
There you go. He's even telling you how it's going to happen. All right. He's got Degli. He's got Araújo. He's got Abojer. He has got Spadaccini. He has got Brito. And we have got a lightning round now. Zap, bang, boom, pow. 10 more fights, to choose from. So plenty to choose from, Gumby.
Yeah, the first one I'm going to talk about is I don't know how far down the card they'll give odds for, but I'm going to take an 0-0 fighter making her pro debut, Bianca Basilio. Bianca Basilio, another one of these fantastic BJJ specialists from Brazil. I feel like LFA, every other day they have some woman coming out of jiu-jitsu going into MMA. Yeah. Just absolutely, be a mosquito, right? Like that can, or I mean, Mackenzie Dern way back when, depending on whether or not you count she's from Brazil. But Bianca Basilio, nasty jiu-jitsu, really nasty jiu-jitsu, world-class level jiu-jitsu. And I've seen some film on her hands. It seems to be coming along. But, obviously, first fight or two, they're not going to give her anybody who's going to hurt her on the feet anyway. So look for a quick trip from her and a quick rear naked choke or something like that. Bianca Basilio. The other one I'm going to take, not a Brazilian. Get this. I'm going to take Vladimir Calvo. Vladimir Calvo is a name I think you should know more of, and everybody should know more of. He trains out of CM, which is, do you remember Cristiano Marcelo? The guy he's the guy who fought Vanderlei backstage at a Pride, right?
Was he the guy that did? Yeah.
I think so.
I'm sure plenty of people did that stuff.
Yeah, but Cristiano Marcelo, or he was in some sort of backstage brawl at some point in time, and then he was on The Ultimate Fighter. But like his team down in Brazil has got this. He's a Cuban wrestler who's got like fantastic grounded pound. It's actually funny because I was like, they got a big Cuban wrestler. It's funny. So does the Fighting Nerds. The Fighting Nerds got a big Cuban wrestler too.
Oh yeah.
Must be like the new Brazilian move is to like go to Cuba, find a wrestler, teach him jiu-jitsu. But like Vladimir Calvo, like tons of grounded pound rear naked choke finishes. This guy is like the real deal. Like somebody you should definitely watch on these prelims. So for my two lightning round plays, once again, that's Vladimir Calvo and Bianca Basilio.
All right. You're set for LFA. We'll be in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We'll be checking the comments at MMA Gambling Podcast on YouTube, Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer, Instagram, Money MMA at Substack, moneymma.substack.com is my Substack. UFC's back this week, baby. So my free UFC picking contest will be up and running as of Monday. And then I will have all the usual articles up there. So check out moneymma.substack.com. Gumby, tell us about Top Turtle MMA, your other podcast.
Yeah, we're back finally into the UFC realm of things, and we got a couple of UFC guests for this week. So we're going to be talking to Cameron Smotherman, who is on the first fight card of the year, and then Jonathan McAuliffe coming our way from Australia, who will be on the Aussie card that comes the week after.
Check out Top Turtle wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Remember, 2026 at checkout will get you 10% off. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're going to be back tomorrow. We're back up and running. I guess we never went away, did we? The Canadian King, Jeff Fox, Mini Man, Gumby Vreeland. We'll talk to you tomorrow.